Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely pumped to have you here today because we're diving into something I know a lot of you are actively chasing. We're talking about the ultimate strategy game, securing those highly competitive roles at top-tier FAANG and FinTech companies. Look, we've all heard the stories, right? You've probably felt the frustration yourself. Applying for jobs today can feel like this completely overwhelming, super low probability game. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be. Today, we're decoding exactly what separates the top candidates, the ones who consistently score these elite placements, from the regular graduates who just kinda get lost in the shuffle.
Okay, let's dive right into this contrast because it's huge. The old, outdated approach, what we'll call the regular graduate method, is basically just spray and pray. They're scrolling LinkedIn, casually hitting easy apply, asking for random referrals, and just blasting out hundreds of identical, generic applications, really just crossing their fingers and hoping something sticks. But on the flip side, the FAANG score, they don't see applying as a chore at all. They treat the whole process as a meticulous keyword and optimization strategy game. They aren't putting high-paying FAANG or FinTech roles on some impossible pedestal. They just recognize them as the most competitive versions of standard roles. And to win, they just play the game entirely differently.
And the ultimate pain point of that regular graduate approach, it really comes down to a frankly dismal callback rate. Think about it. If you're casually sending out 100 applications the old way, you are playing a totally losing numbers game. Out of 100 applications, you might hear back from, maybe 2 or 3 companies total. It is a completely dismal return on your time. If you actually want to beat the automated hiring filters and stand out, you have got to shift your mindset away from volume and laser focus on precision.
So here's our 5-step blueprint for the explainer today. We'll cover 1. The strategy game. 2. Discovering your specific niche. 3. Building your keyword arsenal. 4. The talent search engine. And finally, 5. Strategic cold outreach.
All right, kicking things off with step 1, the strategy game, outsmarting the filters.
Moving right along to step 2, discovering your specific niche, or the end of the generalist.
So, to outsmart those filters we just mentioned, you really have to understand this massive shift in how the tech industry is actually hiring right now. Top scorers, they don't have some secret magical job searching strategy that you don't. They just realize the landscape has completely transformed. Like the term entry level, it doesn't mean a broad, I can do a little bit of everything kind of role anymore. Actually, scratch that, it hasn't meant that for a while. Today, it's a highly specific position requiring candidates who fit perfectly into a distinct, targeted niche. Hiring today runs entirely on niches, so your very first task is proving you belong to one. Because broad categories just don't cut it anymore. If you're out there just calling yourself a data scientist on your resume, you're literally competing with everyone. Instead, you've got to target niche roles. So as you can see in data science, you target roles like A/B testing, recommendation systems, or deep learning. Or in cybersecurity, instead of just saying you're a cybersecurity expert, you focus on identity and access management, or governance, risk, and compliance. You absolutely must position yourself away from those broad, sweeping titles and plant yourself squarely into highly specific functions. Which brings us to step 3, building your keyword arsenal by layering your profile.
Okay, so once you know your niche, how do you actually prove to a recruiter you belong there? The secret sauce is positioning. And you do that through accurate, defensible keywords built using a 3-step layering process. Let's see how this builds. Say your base project in step 1 is a 2026 FIFA World Cup predictor. Now, a regular grad usually stops right there, but in step 2, you add the technical domain. You go deeper and truthfully connect that exact project to domains like predictive modeling, probabilistic analysis, or recommendation systems. Then, in step 3, we add the industry layer. Does this connect to sports analytics, betting markets, fan engagement platforms? By stacking these layers, boom, one single project suddenly signals massive niche and industry relevance. That is exactly how a FAANG score thinks.
And here is a massive hack for building out that keyword arsenal: open source contributions. Listen, if you contribute even just a few lines of code to a major project like TensorFlow or VS Code, you aren't just talking about the tiny piece of code you built. No. You are associating yourself with what that entire ecosystem represents. You can legitimately align yourself with the broader capabilities and use cases of that massive software. You can rightfully use those powerful keywords surrounding that whole ecosystem on your resume. It's a completely honest, highly effective strategy to just borrow that massive authority.
But you might be wondering, where do you find all these perfect keywords?
Well, you use AI, of course, but you have to use it like a top scorer. Do not just go to ChatGPT and broadly ask, hey, give me resume keywords. That's just going to spit out generalist garbage. Instead, you have to feed the AI deep context. You need to input your specific project details, the exact target role you want, and the industry you're aiming for. Give it the whole shebang. Let the AI help you map out the right terminology based on that really rich context.
All right, on to step 4, the talent search engine, or hacking visibility. Because here's the reality check. Building a great resume is really only half the battle. Recruiters at these top tech firms are completely overwhelmed with applications. They physically do not have the time to read through all of them. So what do? They search. The massive paradigm shift you have to accept here is that LinkedIn is not just some social media profile where you post good pictures and life updates. For recruiters, it is quite literally a keyword-based search engine for talent. If you aren't treating your profile like a heavily search-optimized web page, you are practically invisible to the exact people trying to hire you.
So here's your optimization checklist to fix that. First, you need to meticulously tag every single certification you have. Second, structure every project with those layered keywords we just talked about. Next, perfectly align your listed skills with your target niche roles. And finally, if you have the means, utilize LinkedIn's premium features or AI tools to refine this even further. Now, yes, I know this process is tedious, but listen to me. Incredibly talented, qualified candidates lose out on life-changing jobs every single day simply because they lack search visibility. Do not let that be you.
And that brings us to our final section. Step 5, strategic cold outreach, also known as the targeted strike.
Once you're completely search optimized, a true FAANG score doesn't just sit back and wait to be found. No way. They take the initiative. They proactively hunt down recruiters using the perfect cold email flow. Here's how it works. Step 1. Search out job posts and hiring announcements to find the recruiter's professional email. Step 2. Do not spam them. Write a short, highly thoughtful email with a punchy, strong subject line stating exactly what you want. Step 3. Highlight just one clear thing, your absolute best achievement or a really relevant overlap in your domain. And Step 4. This is a brilliant strategic trick. Do not attach a PDF resume. Instead, link your fully optimized LinkedIn profile. Why? While recruiters get bombarded with cold emails, right? They're definitely not opening random attachments, but a link to a rich, search-optimized profile, it makes it so much harder for them to easily ignore you, and it practically forces them to see your full professional brand.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. You really have to ask yourself right now, are you just applying, or are you actually optimizing your probability? Landing a FAANG or FinTech job, it's not a lottery ticket, guys. It's a calculated strategy game. It's all about actively increasing the mathematical probability of being seen, being understood by the algorithm, and eventually being shortlisted by a real human recruiter. It's time to stop playing the generalist numbers game, start hacking your visibility, and go score that placement. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.